Philippine Navy.
Thank you, and good afternoon again. Our guest of honor and speaker needs no introduction. Among a myriad of his accomplishments, I would just mention very few. His first stint as Secretary of National Defense was in 2007 to 2009, in which he implemented the defense system of management that increased the efficiency and transparency in the whole Department of Defense and the Armed Forces. He prioritized human rights while addressing internal security threats and promoted defense cooperation for peace. As a former congressman, he advocated financial regulatory reforms and served in various leadership roles. Among his sterling educational achievements, he was the top notcher in the 1989 Philippine Bar Examinations, and he has a master's degree in law from Harvard Law School. Lastly, among numerous awards of the Philippine Legion of Honor. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome our Secretary of National Defense, the Honorable Attorney Gilbert Teodoro.
Thank you very much to Rear Admiral Tony Scalesa for the very kind introduction. Vice Admiral Adasi, Rear Admiral Escaleta, Ambassador Alario, General Cordova, Commodore Trinidad, distinguished panel here. I see James here and I see Professor Mendoza and others here. So I think they're better qualified to give a keynote address than I am. Ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant good afternoon to each and every one of you. I'm tasked today to give a talk on the comprehensive archipelagic defense concept. Simply put, it is a concept that is late in the day and should have been done several years ago. Given the fact that our country is an archipelago, our country has climate change challenges. Our habitable areas are getting smaller, a bigger population, a conflict between habitation, agriculture, safe areas, and in short, our resource base to support a growing population is getting scarcer or growing smaller. Therefore, and it's perhaps no accident that in 1982, those that led the discussions of our participation in the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea foresaw the need for actual territorial integrity based on archipelagic nature, and perhaps they foresaw the need for the Philippines to have a bigger resource base in order to support future generations. Hence, we see this need now because there is an actual strong challenge to our sovereign rights, our territorial integrity by an interloper. And we all know who that is. And perhaps, were it not for this strong challenge, there would not be much motivation to change our old 1908-based defense paradigm. Nevertheless, we are here. Simply put, our capabilities, our human resource assets, our trust shall be in securing our baselines and ensuring as much as we can the peaceful, undisturbed exploration, exploitation, and control over our 200 nautical mile exclusive economic zone and areas where we have jurisdiction. Naturally, we admit our capabilities are not optimal at the current time because We have begun our modernization in a way which is more structuring, more interoperability, more sustainability, more foundation, and we have begun it earnestly late in the day. And the rule that we learn is that a day that we postpone for increasing your data capabilities means perhaps 2 to 3 times more cost. Not only acquisition, but in sustainment. And a day postponed, when you factor in these costs, hit your national spending plan and your fiscal position dearly, given the fact that our economic position is such as to factor in several social service interventions that the public is used to, are used to, and several social safety nets, which cost a lot of money. Yet we are spending, on the average, right now, 0.89 to 1.2% of GDP per annum on defense, where other countries, developed countries at that, are spending now because of the challenges and the volatility of the world security situation from 2 to 2.5% of GDP. China has increased its defense spending by 7%. So we are trying to introduce increased defense spending in a way which our economy can absorb. Now, in order to offset these difficulties, we are entering into alliances with like-minded nations. And today you see one of the most activity diverse and situation real panikatan exercises that we have ever seen. It caused some sort of consternation by those naysayers who really don't want it to happen. But let me say that an armed force is here in order to do its job properly. And to do its job properly, it must be allowed to train interoperably and to use its assets to the maximum possible in order to gain experience. What is the use of an armed force if it does not train, if it does not mobilize, if it does not interoperate with allies and like-minded nations? Then it is an armed force on for show, of which the Filipino people will be spending a lot of money for nothing. So we might as well put our armed force to good use by training them. And mind you, the interoperability exercises shall be continuous. The scenarios that will be brought forward shall be more varied, and the exercises shall be more multilateral, with more maritime cooperative activities and other activities. We aim to enter into more partnerships with like-minded nations, enter into more status of visiting forces agreements with other countries that have values that are aligned to our values and that support our position in the West Philippine Sea and support our stand against a unilateral illegal action by a theater actor that tries to bully us, to change the narrative, and tries to even subvert us within our own country. And so here, I put forward some elements of the CAPC. That is to bring a holistic defense posture to the Philippines, where we shall protect our whole territory on a 360-degree basis, not only on the West Philippine Sea, but on eastern seaboard and our southern boundaries. No country in the world is worth calling a strong country if it does not have the means to defend itself. And if it does not have a realistic means, we must start. If we are to make resilience an asset of our country, not for us, but for future generations. Likewise, in support of the defense posture which seeks to protect this is to guard against foreign malign influence that affects our national defense. We are not being paranoid. We are not being racist, but we are being realistic. Malign influence exists not only here, but elsewhere. And we cannot discount also the fusion between illegal criminal activities like human trafficking, drugs, and other criminal activities which may be used in order to weaken the moral fabric of a country. That we must assiduously guard against, while balancing also the rights and privileges of any citizen of legally admitted to this country, of whatever nationality, without discrimination and without gathering racist hysteria in our society. It will be a test of maturity of the Philippine society and the Filipino people. And I ask also the help of our friends in media to be very responsible in reporting matters of national security and guarding against creating hysteria or racist sentiments elsewhere. Then again, we have to be open to the reality that we are vulnerable to threats, not only cyber threats, but also to information, asymmetric information, disinformation in operations. So we must have a realistic appreciation of where we stand, and this is the function of education. For me, it is more important to have an aware and discerning public, which will contribute to their feeling of patriotism and love for their country. When they know what their country can offer, and they know what they stand to lose if they lose their country, I think this will be the best encouragement for patriotism from our younger generations, rather than compulsion in bringing them in a regime which they may not want. We also, under the CABC, are changing our recruitment policies, our reserve force development, where we seek to tap talents and skills given the psychology of our younger generations right now. A lot of them may not want to wear a uniform, but may want to help. So we might as well take advantage of that. We already talked with our Deputy Chief of Staff for Personnel to bring up the recruitment age for enlisted personnel and officers, because a lot of the young right now, they want to take a gap year, they don't want to work immediately. So to have a maximum commissioning age of 26 or enlisted age of 26 may not be practicable, and we may be shutting out a lot of talented and qualified individuals from serving with us. Recently, the new reserve force structures have gone to my desk. We will be talking about it, and we will be coming out with regulations in order to shape a viable reserve force that will actually serve the interests of a credible national defense. Finally, what is strategy all about? It's about deterrence. To create a credible deterrent to malign behavior and a credible deterrent in order to discourage attempts to subvert our territorial integrity and sovereignty. It's mostly about deterrence and also about pushback when needed. However, a pound of prevention, an ounce of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. I think it works indeed. So those are the basic outlines of the comprehensive archipelagic defense concept. Of course, other non-defense factors are necessary. We need to expand our resource base in order to gain much needed revenue to support our defense needs. So we need all of these elements to come into place for a resilient country. Food security, energy security, productivity, convergence between environmental sustainability, given the fact that we lose billions of pesos a year because of climate change. Our resilience as a country is multifaceted. Fortunately, I will focus, and I encourage all the armed forces members and the Defense Department to focus on what you are supposed to do, rather than focus on things that are not within your core competence. And by focusing, we can have a full of government approach with the national leadership being the orchestrator and not us. So focus is the job right now and the mission of the Department of National Defense on defense hardening, on managerial support systems that our department sadly lacks, on the personnel complement of our department, which has been neglected for the past how many years. Mea culpa on my part. And complementarily, the hardening and agility of our defense ecosystem with the 5 organizations under our department to include my home department and department proper. In this, we will need a lot of advocacy, a lot of trust building with each and every member of the Philippine society. And they've been basking in the fact that they have a very high trust rating. The armed forces of the Philippines has a, how many percent? 83 to 85. That means to say I will increase the pressure on all of you. Every point increase of trust means to say I will quit you harder. And that is the only way that we can keep our edge alive. So I think I've said enough. Thank you very much. I hope I made a little sense today. And I hope we can gather the support of each and every one that is in this room today and those outside. Thank you very much and a pleasant good afternoon to everyone.
Thank you, sir. For the very important speech, the new President of the Secretary of National Defense, Honorable Gilbert Teodoro Jr., to remain on stage. At this juncture, appreciation to Secretary Gilbert Teodoro Jr. I would like to request and speak Philippine Navy's Flag Officer Command, Vice Admiral to be Ambassador to the Navy. Please allow me to read the citation. The Philippine Navy presents this plaque of appreciation to Honorable Gilbert Teodoro Jr. for his invaluable contribution as keynote speaker to the Maritime Security Symposium 2024 with the theme Turning the Tides in the West Philippine Sea towards the comprehensive archipelagic security. Given the same aim as the report, signed by the Flag Officer Command, Vice Admiral to